Okay, so after purchasing the advanced tools, you'll be able to import Brisnet race cards and other data. These are cards that I've previously imported. To import a card, you click on this. This link goes directly to the Brisnet download page. You'll have to log into your account or purchase one of these cards, and they're 99 cents a piece. Simply download the card, select a place on your hard drive. For example, I downloaded it to this spot, and then come back to Horseplayer Toolkit and upload the file. Let's see where to go. It's right here, June 29th. So then you upload the file, and it can take a little while because it's a comma delimited file and there's a lot of data in it, so it crunches it all and stores it in the database for you. I've already done this once, that's why it went faster, but it'll normally take longer. So after you import it, you can take notes on the entire card, like what the weather looks like, any other information. This shows you the horses that have a Brisnet prime power advantage in a particular race, so you might tip you off to where a horse looks like a pretty good win candidate. Before I get into that, there's also a Beyer import to get Beyer speed figures, and to do that, you have to have a purchase the card in Formulator or have an active subscription. Takes a little while to load into Adobe Flash, and then the screen will eventually show up. There we go. Then you click export. So in the settings for the export, you have to choose custom, CSV, multiple files, and only this one needs to be checked, past performance running line data, because that contains the speed figures we need. So on the 20th, Wednesday, we select Belmont Park. Then click export, download the file, and I had already done it, but we'll go ahead and show you how to replace it. Alright, so now you got the DRF file that you can import. So you select that, and this one will probably take a little while because it uploads the files. So I'm going to pause the video, but just know that these will take a while. And if you think I put the directions in here, just some helpful tips. There's also a video over on one of the pages on how to import the Brisnet file. Okay, there, it imported it. Now, if you desire, you can purchase a Thoro-Graph performance sheet. It's $25 for the full card. I only do this on big days like Breeders' Cup or obviously the Triple Crown series. Racing Flow is something that I subscribe to. It's about $60 a month, and you can get a subscription here too at racingflow.com. Unfortunately, I don't get any referral, but I like it quite a bit. And they will email you a trips file that has pace information, so you can import that into the system. You can also import it into Formulator, but so I just select all these past ones as well to get it all updated, and this is pretty fast, so you don't have to worry about it taking too long, in theory. There they go. There, now it's done. So, and if we had a Thoro-Graph file, which I assume everyone's familiar with Thoro-Graph, basically you just upload, they give you a PDF file and their performance figures. So if we wanted to purchase Wednesday, the full sheet for Belmont, you'd come in and you'd add that to your cart, and you can, well, they make you log in first so you can see just how expensive it is. $25 for the full card, and yeah, I'm not going to pay that. But so if you did, then you would have a PDF file that they would give you that you can import that as well. And it can be a little handy. So if we come in here to this race, non-winners of 2 lifetime cheap claimer at Belmont on Wednesday, and loading a race takes a little while initially, but once everything's loaded, everything will run much more quickly. It seems to be running a little slower than normal. You can see it's loading everything up. There it goes. So once it's all loaded, then you can navigate between races pretty easily. You get some info about the race. You can make a note about the race. Cheap claiming race. Chaotic. So after that, you can sort by various fields, the odds, Brisnet, prime power, late pace, all that good stuff. And once you get in here, the reason it took so long is it loads every running line for every horse, and I need to change that design in the future. But so here's a good example. This is the second choice on the morning line. Formal event is the favorite. Last out. Beyer, the highest last out. Brisnet figure. Highest last out, last pace. So he's going to be coming late apparently. Yeah, his running style is a closer. But he looks pretty impressive judging by this. He closed into a slow pace here. I would want to dig further. I also check it in other places. But you can link directly to the chart, Equibase chart, or the Trackus, and BetMix is another tool I use. So just to show you the Trackus link, can't really see the thinger. Okay, it's race number 1. So anyway, I'm not going to give a big Trackus tutorial, but it's a nice tool that you can view the delta 4, which is the ground loss. So this is the flow. So blue means it's a slow pace. Red means it was a little bit hotter. Really, this is just average. Anything less than 100, I give a light blue. Brisnet race shape said it was very slow compared to normal. And this one, very slow. So anyway, that's the pace flow information. And the way you can use that information is to say, okay, he earned a terrible Beyer figure and came in third. In addition to that, it looks like he had a pretty good setup. You know, he was 3 links off at the first call, and then started to move up a little bit, but then faded with a hot pace. I would want to dig in a little deeper to see what all was going on there. You can see the only race he's won in his life when he finally broke his maiden, or she did, was when she was loose on the lead, setting an incredibly slow pace, earning a 76 Beyer, which is respectable against this group. But still, it's not a... I would degrade that based on the perfect setup she got. So, yeah, it's an expensive horse, but we'll need pace to close into. Both only win is all dressed up. And one other nice feature here is you can use this icon to take a note. Use your microphone. So if you don't like typing, which I don't, you can say, you got to allow the browser to access your microphone. And then you can say whatever you want, and it gets typed in for you, which is nice, period. And it automatically saves it as well, period. Click on the microphone again to turn it off. Okay, now it's off. So, yeah, that's a nice feature. And then I'll go in quickly to the graphs. So you can see some Beyer. This will show you the highest Beyer speed figures. So the 2, he earned that monster Beyer speed figure breaking his maiden, but he also had a super easy pace up front. The 4 is going to be the favorite. It has the highest last out Beyer of a 67, and he's only run 7 races. That's why it tails off there. These other guys have run these. Probably anyone within 3 points range is a contender. So anyway, if you look at those late pace figures from Brisnet, early pace, and then Brisnet speed figures, these come in. And you can collapse these as well. But you'll notice the similarities between Brisnet and Beyer's. They basically use the same formula. I think they took it out of Andy Beyer's book or whatever. So they're pretty good, but the differences in numbers are usually a little bit less extreme, like in this example, between the 9 and the 8 over here, and this guy had a 61 versus a 48 over here. So it's one more tool, and if you pay for Thoro-Graph, they'll show up on a graph as well down here, just with the numbers. You can see the lower being the better. Bet calculator. Right now it's just a Dutching calculator. So if you say I want to bet $10 to win on this guy for whatever reason, that would return $60. And say you also want to bet this horse to win. This way you can even it out, so you always get the best ROI, return on investment. Save your win bet for future reference. Exacta bet calculator is not there yet, but it's on the to-do list. So yeah, and then there's all these late changes, leading jockeys, leading trainers, bet mix, blah 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 blah. So, and if you want to come back later and take results, the good thing is with all these, with the notes that you take, like there was a complete pace meltdown in this race, just pretending, and then you could say, this guy had a perfect trip. There's various keywords. This was in a book also from Andy Beyer. I can show you. And there's other books out there too about trip handy canting. They're just kind of shorthand that you can use. One I like is pinned on the rail, because that's always a hard position. We saw that with Good Magic was pinned on the rail by Justify in this most recent Preakness. It really was a rough trip for him. So you can give it a grade, say, I really like that race, whatever. Type in your notes here, and everything will be saved. So next time this horse shows up in a PP, you'll have all this. You'll have the post races notes that you created, along with any pre-race notes that you created. And you also have whatever you graded him, what you thought he was going to do coming in, and what he actually did coming out. So it's a good tool for you to, this way you can kind of see past things. Like here's an example of my previous notes for this race, which apparently on May the 27th I was looked at that one, and I liked Stop Thinking to win this race, but apparently he didn't, because this horse won it, but he did set a very hot pace to win it. So yeah, anytime you have any previous notes, they'll also show up. Just let me know if you have any questions. Nathan.Prather@horseplayertoolkit.com.